All right. Thank you. First of all, I was wanted to say thank you so much for this opportunity and for like taking the time to speak to me. Uh, Happy 2024. First of all, start of a new season. I wanted to ask the first big question is heading into this new season. How are you and your new team, EG? How are you guys feeling heading into it?
Yeah, I mean, this was a super last minute thing.
Mm-hmm.
I got asked to join a few days after Christmas. And we've been practicing since then, and we've been meshing. I played with Superman before.
Yeah.
I used to play with, I mean, I played with Jaw a lot in ranked, so I think we're meshing pretty well. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, I remember you. I think it was on Twitter. You were posting saying that Potter reached out to you at like 6 a.m. on ARAM or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so I want to ask you, heading into this, as you said, this was a pretty last minute project. What are your
Mm.
expectations heading into this season? Like, what are you guys hoping to sort of achieve as a team?
Yeah, obviously EG won champs in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
They did super well after everyone doubted them.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, so what? No matter what we do, if we don't win champs, it's kind of a disappointment from last year, I guess, for the name of EG.
Okay.
But as being a new roster, all I want us to do is just play our best and play confident because I think I lacked that in 2023
Mm-hmm.
individually.
Yeah.
Um, and with these new guys, I feel like I kind of regained that as a player.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to play well, and I think if we do that, we can be a good top contender.
Awesome. Cool. This is like a two-part question. I wanted to ask first your thoughts on the overall scheduling decisions that Raya has taken for, kickoff and then leading to Madrid and of course the season start. What are just your initial thoughts on the way the season's been spread out this year compared to last year, especially?
Yeah, I know a lot of my peers have said pretty bad things about it,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of agree with some of it. I don't know about having a like a kickoff tournament for Madrid. I believe that we could have just got out like a regular split and then had another split for Shanghai,
Mm-hmm.
and that would have been fine. Obviously, there may have been like scheduling issues with like league or whatever,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think a kickoff tournament with 2 5 game splits is just way too short, in my opinion.
Mm.
But yeah,
Would your suggestion then be to include another split or to move the two splits forward so you would have three splits instead?
I think we get rid of the kickoff tournament completely. You do a like a regular 10 games or 11 game split,
Yeah.
and then for Madrid, and then you would have like a 1 week or 2 week break
Yeah.
in between that time. You'd have another 10 game split,
Yeah.
and you can time was if time was an issue, then you could do like maybe 2 super weeks or something, and to get it all done
Yeah.
within the same time frame. And then yeah, I think two 10 game 11 game splits would have been absolutely fine, and that way, you know, if let's say your team doesn't do well,
Mm-hmm.
you can still at least see them compete for. I think the minimum amount of or the max amount of games if you like lose pretty bad is like 13, 14 games, something like that. So yeah, it's rough if you like have a bad season.
Mm. But do you think it's better in the sense where each split is separate? So if you do bad in the first split, at least the second split, you still have like a complete fresh chance compared to last year where it was just one giant split, and if you messed up the start, then it was kind of rough.
Oh yeah, for sure. Anything was better than last year. Like last year, the fact that we only got one like the lock, obviously because of lock in, we only got
Yeah,
one regular split. I got to play. I think it was like 12, 13 games
yeah,
all of last year before our season was over.
yeah.
Obviously, that's our own fault. But I mean, it just sucks. Like, just I mean, sometimes your year just doesn't go your way. Like
Hmm.
practice might look good and everything, but you can't just like find that balance on stage. And then sometimes you as a team just need a little bit more time, maybe.
Yeah,
But obviously, you have to work with what you're given, and that's what we were given. So
that's true. I mean, I don't know if you follow League of Legends, but I feel like that format is more forgiving in the sense where, there are teams that start off the split bad, but they still have two more splits to look forward to.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's kind of where I was going with that. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so heading to the second part of my question, they've revealed your matchup. So because of EG's performance last year, as you sort of hinted at, you guys have been placed in Group C, and you've been
Yeah.
given a pass in the first round. So you basically need to win one game to get into playoffs, and you're also in the same group as G2 and Crew. So what are
Mhm.
your thoughts on the two teams, first of all, that you're like been placed with, and also just your thoughts on being placed in the group in general?
Yeah, I think we're super blessed to keep the same performance that the last EG had.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we kind of don't deserve it because we're like a new roster. But I mean, if they didn't do that, I feel like it would have messed the bracket up completely.
Mm-hmm.
It would just been all out of whack. But anyways, yeah. I haven't scrimmed against Crew much. I haven't seen any of their like scores, like their scrim bucks,
Yeah.
so I can't really go off on anything about them. Obviously, they're a solid team. Like all these teams are solid.
Mm-hmm.
G2, I've had a little bit of experience with, and they're looking good. I think it's just going to come down to whoever, like I said, plays confident, plays it the best.
Yeah. Cool. There is one sort of question though, because of course I wanted to ask you, like getting placed in Group C. Obviously, there's the benefit of you skipping the first round, but
Yeah,
there is one unique downside for you guys because the sort of the other way of looking at it is you don't have that opening game to sort of get you guys into it, and you'd sort of be facing whichever opponent that comes through, either Crew or G2, or who has the momentum coming into this sort of first game for you guys. So
yeah.
do you guys have any thoughts on that sort of approach?
Yeah. I mean, Jaw and I are the only like two players that have actually played in a VCT Americas last year.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think we just kind of have to instill like that veteran mentality to our other three teammates.
Yeah.
Obviously they've been on lands before,
Hmm.
but yeah, I think they'll be fine because I mean Superman's like a crossfire, like he played crossfire on land. He's been on lands and crossfire. He was like the go crossfire.
Yeah.
Nature's also competed on land recently with 100T before he transitioned over to here,
Hmm.
and I think Apod will learn pretty fast with the way he plays in scrim. So
Awesome. Cool. Because my follow-up question is going to be like, well, what have you guys done to sort of offset the off-season warm-up? Because you guys obviously started a bit late. But okay, moving on to this next section. As you sort of mentioned earlier, you and Jaw are the only ones who've played in Tier 1. So I wanted
Mhm.
to ask you, what's your sort of role that you'd be playing on this team in the sense where are you going to be taking on a more veteran role, sort of leadership, secondary caller kind of role? I'm assuming nature is going to be primary caller on
Yeah,
this
yeah.
on this versus. Yeah, will you be taking on sort of like secondary caller, guiding the other players? Yeah, could you take me through it?
Yeah, so I'm going to be playing initiator, obviously, and kind of essentially that's your job is to guide people to initiate fights.
Yeah.
I'm going to be yeah, kind of like what I did on 100T is just secondary caller and just helping the boys out with utility. So that's
Hmm.
what I'm going to be doing.
Awesome. Cool. Also, can you take me through how the roles are going to be sorting themselves out in EG? What everyone's playing? You said you're playing initiator. What is Jogamo going to be back on the race? Like how's that going to be kind of sorting itself out?
Uh, yeah, Jaw is our primary duelist. I'm initiator. And Superman is going to be controller, but obviously Superman Nature and Apoth kind of they overlap roles a little bit.
Hmm.
So I mean, we're cooking with that.
Yeah.
There's definitely there's there's certain comps that I will not say, but um, we have it figured out. Let's just say.
Interesting, interesting. Okay, cool. I wanted to ask you because you've been playing for a while since 2020, obviously. And I believe it was on Rise where you really started catching eyes and sort of like heating up. I think in one of your previous interviews you spoke about how that's the first one where you got paid, you got a paycheck for playing professionally and how that was like a big milestone. Could
Yeah,
you take me through what was your personal vote? What is your personal motivation, sort of as a player? What drives you to play?
what drives me to play, um, other than needing the money to live in California, just a passion to compete. Whenever I played video games, I just always tried to be the best, whether it was with like playing like Mario Kart with my cousins or just any like casual game or competitive game like CS or League. I just always strive to be like the best because I figured if I didn't try to get better at it. I was just kind of wasting my time.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like there's casual games where I take it easy,
Yeah.
but I'm a pretty competitive person in that sense. And truly, I just want to say I was the best at that current time for maybe this one season or however many seasons I can be the best. So
Yeah.
that's kind of why I do it.
Interesting. Thank you. Okay, cool. So let's see. Okay, you've mentioned that you've played with Superman before. That was on Rise, I believe, where you were playing together. Could you speak more on the sort of the existing synergy that happens between you? Is this something that comes into play on this new roster?
Definitely, yeah. When I got back into the server with him, it was just like 2 years ago, 2 3 years ago. It
Hmm.
felt like we were the same. It felt like we had the same. It literally felt like we didn't have a 2 year break without being teammates.
Yeah.
We slotted right in, and yeah, whenever we're on the same site or together in the server, it's feels good.
All right, that's cool. I also wanted to ask you. I believe you've never worked with Nature before on a team, and also I don't think you've worked with Potter before. I just wanted to ask you, what has your experience been like working with these two individuals so far?
Yeah, I didn't really know much of Nick or Nature
Mm-hmm.
beforehand. I know of him from like Gen G, TSM, and his recent stint at 100T, where I
Yeah.
watched the tournament. And I didn't have much to think about him, but when I joined the team, I could already tell like I really liked his calling. I like his energy. Um, he's a good caller in the sense that he knows when to change the pace, when to up the tempo. He knows when we need to slow down, when we need to speed things up, and yeah, I think he's just a super good caller.
Mm-hmm.
Potter's coach, um, she's also like someone I knew of before, like when she used to play on EG, and then she transitioned to the coaching role. Obviously, she just won a champ, so I have nothing but good things to say.
Yeah.
She does a lot for us, um, and I think yeah, we're gonna be cooking this for this next few weeks.
Awesome. Cool. All right, heading into the last part of the interview, I wanted to ask you some of your thoughts on the in-game changes that have come through. So the first
Mm.
thing is, I'm not sure how much this impacts you as you play primarily Initiator, but of course the big one is the Initiator. Sorry, the Sentinel buffs and changes that have come through. So the Cipher buffs and then the Killjoy turret nerf in
Yeah.
general. And then of course the Sky changes that have come through. They're not going to affect this kickoff, but they will affect the further down the road.
Oh,
Uh,
the sky changes aren't in
from
this pack.
from what I understand from the report from Riot, it's gonna be on 8.0 patch, this kickoff, and
Oh,
then after that will be
yeah,
I
interesting.
okay,
I need to
well,
ask for that. I didn't know.
you would probably know better, but I just want to sort of ask you, how has that changed the meta? Has it changed the meta, and what do you think the landscape for 2024 is going to be looking like in terms of agents?
Um, yeah, I think the Sentinel changes are little. I mean, I feel like KJ's been kind of kicked to the dirt a little bit too harshly. Um, I think they're just trying to get like Cypher to be played a little bit more, and I think the trip changes. Some days they feel a little overtuned. Some days they feel like just regular Cypher trips where you just break them, and Cypher's kind of he's just a cam in two cages.
Hmm.
But yeah, I wouldn't say it changed really too much. The Sky nerfs are pretty drastic, but you just have to play her in kind of a different way, where in the sense where you can't just throw birds for fun. You kind of have to
Hmm.
like have some intent with them.
Yeah.
You can't get like early info for free, like bind, belong. You can't just throw like a skybird for no reason. You have to actually like want that information at that time.
Hmm.
Um, I think she could still be played. Obviously, we're experimenting with other things just because we have a few more weeks. But yeah,
Interesting. Also, I wanted to get your thoughts on the current map pool as well. So, of course, Haven's out. We've got Breeze and Icebox back in. Changes to both maps and then Lotus as well. So, what are your thoughts on this? Is this something that works well in your guys' favor? Like, are you happy with the current selection of maps?
yeah, I think we're us as players are pretty flexible. Like Jaw can literally play anything, so
Hmm.
I think this map pool favors us a lot. Um, I'm gonna miss Haven. Haven was one of my favorite maps, even in competitive play. So kind of missed that one. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think as long as my team is good on every map, I can't really complain about the map all too much.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Final question. Do you have sort of anything you wanted to say to fans, maybe, or something, sort of like closing words or yourself?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Um, to all the EG fans out there, I understand we're not the 2023 version of the roster, but I can guarantee you, Potter and Jaw did the best they could with the circumstances they were given.
Yeah.
We're going to do our best to try to reach that level in 2023. And to any fans that followed me transitioning from 100T to EG, I appreciate all your support from the bottom of my heart. I didn't think I was going to be in franchising this year, but I'm here and I'm going to do my best to, you know, show up to some of these games with a little bit of confidence unlike last year. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Derek, for your time, and hopefully I get a chance to speak to you again. Good luck in
Yep.
kickoff.
Thank you. Have
Thank
a
you
good
so
one.
much.